Duffy and his guardian just moved into a new place, which is why it looks a little bit in disarray. Duffy has a case of separation anxiety and barks a lot when he's left alone. So we kind of got done with the initial evaluation, and what I found out is the dog really doesn't have a lot of rules or structure. And the lack of structure gives the dog the impression it has the same authority as the human, and that contributes to stress. So when the human leaves, the dog thinks, oh my God, I can't protect the human, so I have to go dig at the doorway or defeat my kennel so I can go out and find them because they don't know any better. Some black lab's gonna take her home with them, and then I'm gonna be without a guardian. So it's a panic state. So what we wanna do is build in structure so the dog kind of feels that burden of responsibility being lifted, and that with that reduction of pressure will come with a reduction of stress. One of the things that I noticed that I like to do is incorporate structure into day-to-day routine events. And I just asked the guardian if he nudges her for attention, and she said, oh yeah, or especially if I get done petting him, then he just starts nudging me. He's like, don't stop. So when he does that, he's basically telling us what to do. And if he tells us what to do and we do it, then yeah, careful, you'll stop it if you press too hard on that. That's okay. Perfect. But if he tells us what to do and we do it, after a while that gives the dog the impression I have more authority than the human, so I'm responsible. So what I like to do is, I call it petting with a purpose. So next time the dog nudges you or scratches at you, instead of petting the dog, ask the dog to sit, or tell the dog to sit rather. As soon as the dog sits, I like to scratch under the chin, because when a dog feels proud about what they've done, their nose is in the air or parallel to the ground. So petting this way creates that. So as soon as he sits, pet him and sit. And just say sit, not good sit, not Duffy sit, just sit. And then you can pet him for an hour after that if you want, but he just has to change his state to be petted from now on. So no more free petting. Remember, petting him is how he pays for things. If you drop your elbow on the table, you can kind of hold it.
Yeah,
there you
go.
I talk a long time. These
That's
videos
okay.
get a little bit hard to hold the camera up. So what will happen is after a while, then instead of, because he does jump up on, not so much the guardian, but guests. So we're going to help him practice sitting. This is called manding in the dog behavior world. And so we're going to teach him that the only way that you're going to get my attention is through a currency of obedience. You have to sit and earn my attention, then I'll give it to you. And if you tell me what to do, I'm definitely not going to do that. I'm going to tell you a counter order, and when you do it, then I'll reward you for following it, but I'm not going to respond to your orders. Now it takes about a week or two to get in a habit. I literally had a video, I gotta find it because it's a great video, because I told the woman, I want you to stop petting your dog, and she's like, okay. He goes, okay, so now on, what I want you to do is I want you to pet your dog with a purpose. And I'm like, you're petting your dog. She's, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so from now on, you're gonna ask your dog to sit before you pet your dog. And she does it 3 times in the course of like 7 seconds of me explicitly telling her not to do it. We don't realize how often we do it. Petting your dog is a good thing. There are chemical processes that take place in our body and theirs. It's beneficial for us, but it's also psychologically bad if the dog has other behavioral issues and thinks it can tell us what to do. So I use a hand motion. So if this is the dog's nose, I kind of cup my hand like I'm holding a treat, and I start out parallel with the nose just slightly ahead, and then I go at kind of a crescent shape over their head. As they track up, it puts their butt down on the ground. As soon as their butt hits the ground, I lower my hand, I scratch under the chin, and say the word sit. Petting with a purpose, if you can get in a habit of doing it and do it every time you pet your dog, every time you do it, it's a mini dog obedience training session that you engage in without spending any time or effort or even realizing that you're doing. It's hugely important, and it'll help take the pressure and stress off of your dog. That's petting with a purpose.